But when the theater AC became too much for me, I would be able to shiver and rub my arms, and Cassius would roll his eyes and give me his jacket, the satin lining still warm from his body, to protect my nakedness, and I would feel cosseted. Last minute, I took off the earrings and put on the 4-strand collar of the palest blue pearls. It is my favorite. I like the way it sets off my throat. Except, the next day when Cassius met me at Saint-Hubert Airport, he came not with tickets, but with a half-dozen rich old farts and a pimped-out van. It turned out I'd been misled. Instead of flying with him to New York City, we were taking the pimped-out van and the half-dozen rich old men to some hunting retreat. "You promised me, Cass." "What I promised you," he said through clenched teeth so he wouldn't be overheard, "was a long weekend in New York, and we will be in New York." "You know I thought you meant the city, and why do I have to sit in the back with the old farts?" "Because I'm the only one who knows where we're going. And they're not old farts, Julia. They're contacts. Very useful contacts. This is a chance for me to get to know them, to prove myself, so when August finally realizes that he won't live forever and needs to groom someone to take over, we are in a position to inherit." I felt used, like I always do whenever Cassius talks about my Uncle August. I mean, I guess I shouldn't blame him. There are only so many jobs for werewolves in Canada, and my uncle controls most of them. I just wish Cass would leave me out of it. "Be charming. I know you know how to do that. Then, when we're all done, I will take you to New York." "City." "Yes," he said. "New York City." I need to cancel my reservations. You know how hard they are to get, and I don't want to be put on a list of no-shows. It didn't matter that I wasn't happy. I've spent a lifetime learning how to look like I am. I sat in the back and cooed and laughed and offered drinks while the old farts told me about the hunt my uncle had arranged for them, about how he'd stalked some ancient forest with game. "Not game, Alfred. Predators are not game," interrupted Clement, a septuagenarian I knew through my mother, whose cock got hard when I was 15, but now that I was 32 was energetically flaccid. "Of course they are, Clement. Anything I can shoot is game. You could be." I didn't know what the feud between these men was about, but I knew it was my job to distract them. I told them how I'd never killed anything and couldn't stand the sight of blood. Then I lowered my head, bit my lip, and looked up at them through my lashes. Every one of them, all but Clement, hurried to assure me that they would protect me from the wolves. I smiled gratefully and shrugged diffidently and squashed any questions about what my uncle was up to, like I always had. I was irresistible, all the way to a tent in the middle of Mudville, decked out like some vaguely rusticated wedding party, with crystal that shone like baccarat, and chased silver dishes filled with food that I didn't touch, because, as my mother always said, it's impossible to be charming when your mouth is full. There was a lovely rich and meaty bandol, though, and just as I was pouring another glass, the world turned upside down. 2 enormous wolves, one dark gray and one white, leapt on the tables and crunched on the hands of the old farts, the little bones making a snick like celery sticks. These wolves stained the white damask tablecloths with blood, which I didn't care about, and with that lovely rich and meaty bandol, which I did. There were gunshots, and a man I didn't know died, shot straight through the middle of his forehead. A puddled mess came out the back, staining the hem of my pants. It matched my nail polish. It was, I thought numbly, irresistible. It was the first death I'd ever seen, and I, of course, screamed. After that, I lost track of what happened. The old farts, who hadn't even been able to protect themselves from wolves, disappeared back into the van, and it was silent, except for the humming of the generators. Then, a man loomed in front of us, cold as night, holding a gun.